Well, I mean, I didn't do too badly, did I? Cheers. Welcome back, everybody, to me doing the weekly Navel-Gazing, where we talk about all the books I read last week and all the books I plan to read this week, and videos and stuff and so forth. So, let's get started, shall we? I did, in fact, read some books, by which I mean I did read or finish The Mountain Meadows Massacre by Juanita Brooks, and then I read the one by Wilt Bagley, which is called Blood of the Prophets. And then I read Massacre at Mountain Meadows by three dudes, and I keep forgetting the names: Norman Walker, possibly, Richard Turley, and Glenn Leonard. Names are really bad. And then I read Vengeance is Mine, which is sort of the aftermath of the Mountain Meadows Massacre by Richard Turley and Sarah something Jones, I think, or Jones Brown. Sarah Jones Brown, I think, is the name. Gods. It's bad. Me and names is sometimes bad. So, 4 books on the Mountain Meadows Massacre, which is Mormon-related, as you may be surprised to know. And then, because I love fun and good things, I reread Cadillac Desert by Mark Reisner, which is a book about why there's not enough water in the American Southwest and why everyone is going to die of thirst and is fucked. It's a really good book. I highly, highly, highly recommend reading it. It's, the history of the conquest, or definitely the conquest, and then transformation of the American Southwest with water rights, general dam building and all that stuff, and how that is maybe really not that good. It looks at, the corruption in there, the different ways this, just read the damn book. I think it's one of those non-fiction books that everyone should read. It obviously has been a huge influence on Paolo Bacigalupi when he wrote the Water Knife, which you also should read because it's a really good book. And I read that. Turns out, lots of Mormons involved in that one as well, even though I wasn't planning to, use it as a resource for the Mormonism video. I guess I can, which is neat, I think, in some interesting ways. So yeah, that one I did also read and reread. And then I did read Metal from Heaven by August Clark, and just finished it 20 minutes ago, and it's really, really good. I really, really enjoyed this book. I highly recommend you read this. I will make a video on it. We'll get there, and I need to figure out how to do that. Anyway, it's a wonderful book. You should read it. It's from this year. I would hazard the guess that it will show up on some shortlists for awards next year, in the same way that Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh did when for last year. I think it does have sort of a similar position in how people talk about it right now, and would probably fit the zeitgeist in a lot of ways. So, I don't know, go read that book so you can then brag to all your friends that you have read the book already. Good idea, right? So that's what I read last week. Now the question is, what am I going to read this week? Because, as I said, I just finished Metal from Heaven. So what's next in my reading? I, frankly, have no real idea. Now, obviously, there's always stuff I could read, I could reread, and so forth, and I'm sure I'll find something. I will probably also start reading Redwall novels, so I know kind of where I'm going with this when I start working on the videos for Medieval Mousemas, or whatever we'll call it. That's certainly going to happen. Maybe, depending on how things go, I'll also reread the first Mistborn books for reasons. And we'll get to that once as well. Yes, of course, I'll have to reread them at some point for the whole Sanderson project. But those are things that are sort of out there. Beyond that, I don't know, maybe this was the week where I'll read The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro, or it will not. Who knows? If you think there are other books that I should read, you can always tell me so in the comments, and then I can shrug and ignore you, or maybe it'll just be the one thing that actually sounds really cool to me. Who knows? I did, for example, pick up Metal from Heaven just on a whim, so my reading's a mess, as it always has been. So that's reading plans for now. Let's talk about videos. Yeah, I made 2, which, I think is good. It's not the best, that I've ever been, but it's good enough. I made 2 videos, one for Gog Magog and one for Ludluda, which, you know, I said I would, and I did. Isn't that nice? And yes, both videos did fairly well. I was really happy to hear from the editor of those books in the comments, and those things always make me happy because, you know, I sometimes I'm very insecure about the things I say about books because, you know, I have no background in literary criticism or anything of the sorts. I'm making the shit up as I go along, slowly, you know, reading theory as on the side. So this is very much the kind of thing where I'm like, yeah, nice to have that sort of like form of recognition that apparently I did not say just really stupid things. Really cool. And if you haven't read Gog Magog and Ludluda, go out and do so. They're both really good books, and then you can watch the videos and tell me where I went wrong, which is, you know, kind of the point here, because then you have helped with engagement, which is apparently what I need on YouTube. So yeah, that's what I made. The question is, what will happen next? And yeah, I mean, I did continue recording, trying to record and so forth parts for the Mormonism video. It is progressing, but I have given up to say anything about when it will be out. We'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, videos for this week, probably Metal from Heaven by August Clarke, possibly Mormonism Unveiled. No, I'll not call it that. I think that would be too deeply an in-joke that maybe like 3 people will get. We'll find out. So the Mormonism video is continuing apace, or very slowly. Metal from Heaven, definitely can talk about that. Should I read The Buried Giant this week? I might be also willing to talk about that one. Maybe something else if I can come up with something. I have been tagged in another tag video by Which He Reads, and I may do that one. It's the something sci-fi. You want me to go where tag? That's the one. It's a really cool one. So depending on how I feel, maybe that one will happen. Something else if I can come up with something. Maybe there's something on, you know, general meta stuff like book talk, booktube, whatever people are talking about at the moment, where I feel like, yeah, I can yell at people. Wouldn't that be nice? And yeah, we'll see if there's something else that I can talk about. I'll obviously also do that, which kind of brings me to the more rambly parts of this. And I already said that there's, you know, I might have to reread Mistborn. See, I'm coming up to like a problem here. And that problem is connecting stuff. See, I usually try to kind of, you know, reference stuff in my videos and try to, you know, build arguments that connect some things, trends within books, within publishing, within specific parts of the genre and so forth. Try to connect these kind of things, which is, you know, why I felt it was a good idea to talk about both the Gog Magog and Ludluda, and then, of course, The Sunken Land Begins to Rise Again by M. John Harrison, and Alan Moore's The Great When, in sort of this larger framework of current fantasy books that are, you know, talking about or looking at or are influenced by the current political situation or the Brexit era British sort of history in a lot of ways. And I think that's a useful framework to situate all of these books in. And there, you know, are other books where that also works. And that's kind of partly why I, for example, want to finish that fucking Mormonism video, because I want to talk about the Brandon Sanderson books, because, you know, they have been hugely influential in a lot of ways. And I feel it is helpful to have a video on sort of like what I would consider the important parts of Mormon history and so forth, to understand what Sanderson is doing, to understand maybe Mormon influence on other science fiction and fantasy writers as well. But that also means I can't really make the videos on the individual Brandon Sanderson novels right now, because that I need to have sort of like that other thing I can reference first, and that's sort of like what's holding me up here at the moment. And now I've read Metal from Heaven, and I feel it would be really helpful for me in my video on Metal from Heaven if I could also reference some things happening in at least the first Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson, because I think there are parallels and so forth in there that we need to talk about. So does that mean I push back the Metal from Heaven video until I have finished the Mormonism video and have made videos on Elantris, Mistborn Era 1, all three, or whatever they're called, the Final Empire, Well of Ascension, and the third one, which I always keep forgetting. But, do I do that first? And does that mean I push it back and back? Or do I make the video for Metal from Heaven now and just vaguely gesture at all the Mistborn stuff and hope that people are familiar enough with Mistborn, even though I may have a very different reading of Mistborn? And then reference back to Metal from Heaven when I make the Mistborn videos. You see where I'm going with this? It's very difficult for me to figure out how to build these connections, because, I'm not writing a book where I can figure this stuff out chapter by chapter and then rearrange and reference backwards and forwards and so forth, because I'm putting out videos one at a time, and that's, kind of hard. And, but I'm just wrestling with this. And obviously I've been frustrated with the whole Mormonism video project for a while. I'm glad I finally managed to push forward and, record another part where I feel almost confident that it is good enough for me to use, or maybe I'll try to do one more take and see if that one works better. But when I came back from the weekend, and I spent the weekend at 2 different metal concerts, I went to the Knockout Festival in Karlsruhe, which had a bunch of old school, 90s German power metal bands like Blind Guardian and Gamma Ray playings, and which was really nice. Also ruined my voice a bit, which I guess you can still hear. And I also went to see In Extremo, which is a German medieval metal band, on Friday. So when I came back from all of that, I saw that one very big sort of ex-Mormon, anti-Mormon, whatever you want to call it, content creator, YouTuber, made a video that is called The Bizarre Reason Why There Are So Many Authors Are Mormons, or the other way around. Fantasy authors are Mormons, that's the way she framed it. And that video has amassed way over 100,000 views already, and I'm like, yeah, shit. I missed another one of those potential deadlines, right? First, I didn't get anything out before When the Truth came out. And then I managed to not even get, now I got someone else making a video on it. And obviously I have not watched the video. I will not watch the video before mine is out, because I don't want to get, influenced by someone else. I don't think that is good for how I'm doing things. And I've heard from people that have watched the video that it will be very different from what I will do with it. But, what I wanted to point out here is that in the way I make videos and the way I think about stuff, it does sort of... There is an emotional layer to this, and I'm already sort of beating myself up for taking way too long with this project. Whether that is justified or not is obviously up in the air, but subjectively, I feel like I should have been done. I should have been done with this much earlier, and I haven't. And then seeing something like this, certainly on an emotional level, before I think about it rationally, kind of really hit me hard. And I'm like, am I really too slow with this? And now coming in with the whole, the Metal from Heaven thing, it kind of adds to that. It's if I had put out those videos the way I planned, in November, for example, there would be no problem. I would just put out the Metal from Heaven video this week and reference to those Mistborn videos that have already been recorded, and we would be all would be well, I guess. Or not, because clearly the other way around, if I talk about Mistborn and had not yet read Metal from Heaven, I could not make references to that one either. And you see where I'm going with this? And I guess I'm probably doing YouTube wrong. I mean, I definitely am doing YouTube wrong, according to YouTube, in a lot of ways. But in this specific case, I'm probably doing it wrong in that I sort of... think of my videos not as one video one after the other, and that's I make a video and we're done, but as sort of a somewhat coherent larger work sounds way too professional, but you know what I mean, that I try to sort of make these things interdependent, or at least not contradict each other too much if I can help it. And that's certainly something that I try to figure out. And maybe I'm completely wrong, because I can't control what you guys watch, right? Maybe you just watch one video and then you step off and do something else and never come back to this channel, or you watch one video this year and another one next year, and you just watched just watched the one on M. John Harrison, and you don't care about Gog Magog and Ludluda, and you don't care about the Great Wen. So me trying to connect these and put like a larger framework around it is completely wasted energy. I don't know. I'm just trying to sort of like figure out why I'm doing the things I'm doing and how I'm doing the things I'm doing. And I figured like just, rambling it at a camera might help you to see where I'm coming from, and maybe that added context will make it somehow more maybe you'll understand where I'm coming from, and maybe that will change your habits of watching, or maybe it'll help you understand my like other videos if you know sort of like the motivation or like the approach that I'm taking. That's sort of like what I'm trying to do here. Is like where be transparent about stuff, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this approach to creating videos, and I feel like maybe I've accepted that the Mormonism video will come out whenever, but it took me a while to reach that point, if I have fully reached it. Once again, it kind of leaves me with this point. It's like, where am I going with this? How long will this take? What will I do afterwards? Now that's the end of the year, and some people have started to put out there like my favorite reads of 2024 and my the stuff I'm looking forward to in 2025. And I started making a list of books that I know are coming out in 2025 that I know I want to read, like the same way I did like last year where I made a video. I think I made it in January, but still, the video about like, here's, the books that I plan to read this year when they come out. And so far, the list is much shorter than it was last year, which is bad or sad, I guess, at least. So I need to figure out, need to find more books that I'm aware that I know I will be, getting, hopefully. So if there's stuff coming out in 2025 that you think I should really keep an eye out for and really should, maybe add to my list of stuff that I'll try to read as soon as it comes out, please let me know. I'm aware of the Glenn Cook book, I know, but so far it hasn't been announced as an audiobook, so I have not put it on my list. I'm pretty sure it will get an audio release. It is probably one of the bigger releases next year, but still, we're all trying here, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. I feel slightly under the weather from the whole festival thing over the last weekends, I should probably say. Maybe I've also caught a bit of a cold. We'll see how all of that kind of continues through the next couple of days, and maybe it'll all work out this week, and I'll actually get a bunch of videos out. Maybe I'll actually finish that Mormonism video now that sort of like a lot of the pressure is off, because how much worse can it get, right? I've blazed past all the potential deadlines. Someone else has made a video with a very similar title. The Sanderson hype is already basically over, I guess. The reviews for Wind and Truth are coming out, and I guess everyone will be done with the book relatively soon. So yeah, maybe I'm over with it. One other thing that I figured I mention is like I need to figure out what about this month's live stream. I guess technically, if we're going with the last Saturday in the month, that would be the 28th of December, and ideally I'd have a guest. I just don't know who yet. So if you have like suggestions, people you want me to reach out to, and ask. If you are a booktuber who really wants to hang out with me on a live stream that has the word Marxist in it, let me know, and we can probably work this out. If not for this month, because it doesn't work for you this month, then maybe in 2 months, like February. How's that sound? I don't know. Let me know. It's just like I'm really bad at planning stuff, and I should probably figure these kind of things out. The other part is I just mention it as well. It's like I've told you that for whatever technology reason right now, I can't comment on YouTube videos or reply to YouTube video to comments from my browser. I just have to do it from my phone, which is incredibly much. It's much harder to do, like just more cumbersome if you're like me and you're using a screen reader on a phone, which is really bad. This has not changed, which is really fucked up because I just updated the software. I just updated my screen reader to a new version. It still doesn't work, and yeah, that kind of shit like just is really, really, really frustrating for me. And which is, you know, it's annoying in that I feel like one of the things that is important when you do the whole like life, you know, the whole like YouTube thing. And if you're taking it somewhat seriously, which I try to do from time to time, right? Engaging with your audience is obviously important. Engaging with other booktubers and YouTubers is also really important. You know, if, you know, I don't comment on any other YouTubers' videos, I can't really complain if none of the, you know, people that have other YouTube channels are actually writing comments on my videos. Like, why would they? I'm not engaging with them either. They probably don't even, probably think at this point that I'm not even watching their stuff anymore, which is kind of frustrating. And I don't know how to fix that, except for, you know, waiting for like updates to either YouTube's software again, YouTube's website, or my browser getting up the next update, or the next screen reader update. One of those three things fixing the problem. And there's nothing I can do. And it's just like so frustrating to just keep going in this weird sort of like circle, I guess. And yeah, that's sort of like where I am right now. I'll try to, you know, record at least some videos this week. Hopefully get further ahead with stuff. I'm going to read some books. I don't know which ones yet. On a whim, I bought Kim Stanley Robinson's The Years of Rice and Salt. I'm really looking forward to that one. I'm not sure if I want to read it this week because it's, you know, a bit of a bigger book. But I'm going to read it sooner or later because it sounds like something I will really enjoy for all kinds of reasons. So yeah. That's sort of all I have for now. I hope you had a good week. I hope you watched some good videos. I hope you read some good books. Maybe listened to some really cool music. I don't know. Let me know what you did down in the comments. I am always happy to read those things, those comments, and I'll try to reply. It may just take a bit longer because I need to kind of, you know, do it on my phone, which sucks. And yeah. Let's just have like a nice and relaxed week before, you know, things get even more terrible with like the winter holidays escalating more and more. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the things, join the Patreon, do, you know, be nice. And I'll see you very soon, and until then, thanks and cheers.